Hey y'all, this is Lydia. We've been going through some major transitions, obviously, but at the same time, something that's been coming up again and again is overlooking our manifestations, our misinterpreting fate. And this idea of really putting into the ethers what our heart wants, what we want to call in, and the universe delivering it in the best way it knows how. And a major lesson that I went through recently, perhaps maybe, I don't know, a year and a half ago, was being so attached to a manifestation that I would manifest signs around it, but I wouldn't actually receive it. And I had two options in how I looked at it. The first option is that I did something wrong, or that the fact that I didn't manifest something that I was convinced that I was manifesting based on how I viewed what I was calling in, that I wasn't ready to move forward on my journey, or that I was too much of a novice to really be the channel that I know that I am. Or I could have viewed it as the universe gave me what it could based on what I was actually calling in, which is what my heart actually wanted, and also that, just energetically speaking, what I was ready to receive in that moment. So it's an image that's been coming to mind of how this is playing out. It's this idea of being able to move forward in our journey and being able to progress by not misinterpreting our manifestations or taking our signs or things not playing out the way we'd expected them to as a sign that we are on the wrong track or that things aren't working out for us. Because what was happening was I had entered a sweepstakes to win a car, and I was very attached to receiving this car. And what ended up happening is it was a very rare restored model of a car, type of car that doesn't exist anymore. The company went out of business many years ago. And I actually manifested seeing this car in real life. Someone was literally in front of me in driving this vehicle with the license plate that said 222, which is an angel number, and I was really into angel numbers at the time. And I was also attaching to them in a, perhaps, I don't know, the attachment in and of itself wasn't serving me to be attached to the angel numbers as I was. So I was convinced that this was a sign that I was going to win this car, which I didn't. And at the time, it was kind of a blow to my ego. I felt like perhaps I had done something wrong, or that I had mismanifested something. But what actually happened in retrospect was I had manifested exactly what my heart wanted, which was to move forward in my journey of coming into energetic integrity so that I could be the channel that I wanted to be. In order to do that, I needed my ego to be shattered. On the other side of that coin too is me calling it in the way I had been, with an attachment to outcomes. The universe couldn't deliver the car to me because I wasn't ready to receive it. So what it did was give me what I could call in and what I could receive in that moment, which was to see the car in real life and to experience it and have that license plate angel number to affirm my attachment and be like, oh yeah, you called this car in, but you didn't call it into your possession, which are two separate things. Now, I could have taken that and said, well, I'm not ready to move forward on my journey because I'm clearly not doing something right. So I'm not ready, I'm not prepared, or I'm not understanding something. So I need to go back to the drawing board. But what that manifestation was, it was the perfect ingredients for me to shatter my ego in a way in order for me to actually move forward in more integrity. That is to say, to realize that having that attachment wasn't serving me. And being attached to outcomes is what created the mismanifestation, which wasn't a mismanifestation at all. An example that keeps coming to mind is this idea of being in a security line at the airport, and you're going through, and for example, I'm just attached to this bottle of shampoo, and I'm just convinced that if I have this bottle of shampoo, everything on my trip will go well. You know, if something happens with my hair, I can wash it and I'm set to go, but it doesn't meet TSA standards. So what happens is they pull the bottle from my bag, they throw it in the trash can and say, okay, it's time for you to go to your gate. Now, I could completely be shattered in that moment, being like, that was a really expensive bottle of shampoo. I can't believe that this happened to me, yada, 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 have a complete shutdown. Or I could accept the fact that I wasn't meant to have that bottle of shampoo on my journey, and that the journey isn't going to stop. It's going to keep going. In fact, it's time to go. It's time to get to my gate so that I can take off and go on my journey. And that's what I interpret this experience as. It wasn't this shattering in the sense of everything was over, or that I had to go back home and rewrite the script or whatever. It was, I was going through a security check in order to go further on my journey. And that shattering that happened actually put me into a better integrity and a better alignment and a deeper understanding that I could then go on to share, which is what I'm doing now. But that's important because we can often misinterpret our manifestations or misinterpret fate and completely overlook what's actually happening. And for me, that was moving on to a further part of my journey. In fact, it was a sign that I was ready to move on. And it was just one little thing that needed to be nipped in the bud so that I can get further along and so that I can move on to the next step. And I wanted to share that because we are going through an extensive, arguably a 20-year, 35-year transit of us moving into a whole new way of being, moving into a whole new lifestyle and how we operate. And it's important for us to not let things that don't pan out the way we expect them to misinterpret them and allow them to stagnate us or to put us in an energetic space where it attaches to our psyche as something that happened to us or didn't work out, when really it's just the universe making adjustments so that we can receive our manifestations moving forward. And to be honest with ourselves about what our heart actually wants and what's actually serving us in any given moment. It would not have served me to win that car, because if I had, I would have gone into an old habit, which is for me to just drop everything I'm doing and run off somewhere. I am notorious for just switching the script and being like, okay, I have a little money, I'm just gonna go on this trip, or I'm just gonna, change directions and run off. When really what serves me now is to be focused and to be really engaged with my process of what my heart really wants, which is to be a channel, to hone my oracle abilities, to be able to share my insights to the world, really. And I can't do that if I'm not in an energetic integrity. It's important for me to be in energetic integrity and to be in alignment. And what was out of alignment is I was having attachments and I was attaching to things, and my ego was sort of manipulating my manifestations in ways that, I could have misinterpreted and said that, oh, this is something I did wrong, versus, oh, this is something that actually I needed to see in order to be in better integrity and better alignment. And I want to pull some cards. So we have the Moon in Leo, appreciation, Mars in Libra, choice, and the Sun in Pisces, vision, which is interesting because this is about manifestations. It is about us really tapping into what our heart wants. Leo is the heart, and the vibrational, the energetic integrity of that, the Moon here, and appreciating our experiences and understanding that, if something puts us in an emotional space that we would categorize as unsavory or unpleasant, that it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually serving us in a certain way, and that we have a choice in how we perceive it and a choice in how we decide to take action from there, and whether we let it, stagnate us, putter us out, make us immobile, or we actually see it for what it actually is, which is a rebalancing, and to seeing the truth of it. Roses in symbolism or in Hermeticism represent truth, and this idea of speaking the truth and being honest. And then we have our visions, what we want, what in our awareness are we putting our awareness on that we want moving forward, and is our vision for the future for ourselves. And again, allowing whatever happens to bring us back into energetic integrity so that we can move forward, and viewing everything that happens in that way, and not misinterpreting our manifestations or misinterpreting fate, but seeing it for the deeper wisdom that it is, of how it's actually helping us to unblock and to move forward. And they're telling me to look at the bottom of the deck, which is Venus in Libra, which is, it says indecision here, but Venus is ruled by Libra. It's actually dignified in that position. But there's this idea too of like allowing ourselves to really shift how we view our experiences and not get caught up in some sort of inertia by misinterpreting what's happening, but to actually be in open receptivity to whatever happens so that we can see the deeper wisdoms again, so that we can move forward. And we have here too, Jupiter in Virgo, patience, but also reality checks and being open and expansive and really allowing our experiences to expand us into a new reality. So I hope this message resonates. I'm sending love and wishing you well.